What if I told you that a book exists that tells a story so powerful, so strange, so dangerous it was removed from the Bible? A book that speaks of angels who fell from heaven, of secret knowledge given to mankind, of giants who once walked the earth, and of a future judgment that even modern science can't fully explain. This is the Book of Enoch, and it has been hidden from most of humanity for centuries. Banned, forgotten, buried. But why? Why would a book once considered sacred by early Christians and ancient Jews suddenly disappear from the Bible? What secrets does it hold about our true history? About ancient beings who shaped humanity, and the spiritual war happening behind the scenes of our world? You see, this is not just a story from the past. It's a warning for the present, and a map for those who are ready to awaken. In this video, we will explore the shocking truths inside the Book of Enoch, truths that connect with ancient civilizations, the mystery of the Nephilim, and even modern science and spirituality. But be warned, once you know what's inside this ancient book, you may never look at history or reality the same way again. Are you ready to see the world through different eyes? Because what we're about to uncover could change everything. Let's begin. Long before the Bible was printed, before the rise of modern religion, there were ancient texts passed down through scrolls and memory. One of the most mysterious among them is the Book of Enoch, named after Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah. Yes, the very same Noah from the flood story. But Enoch's story is not what you'd expect. While the Bible gives Enoch only a few lines, the Book of Enoch gives him an entire saga. It says Enoch was taken into the heavens, not by death, but by divine invitation. He walked with God and was shown the secrets of the universe. But what did he see? He saw angels, watchers who came down to earth. These were not the glowing winged beings from modern paintings. They were powerful, radiant beings who broke divine law. They took human women as wives. They taught forbidden knowledge about weapons, sorcery, astrology, and more. And their children, giants, known as the Nephilim. Now here's where it gets interesting. This story of heavenly beings mixing with humans isn't only in Enoch. You'll find similar tales in Genesis 6:4, in the Sumerian myths of the Anunnaki, and even in Greek mythology with the gods and titans. It seems ancient cultures around the world remembered a time when the gods walked among men. So why was the Book of Enoch removed? In the early days of Christianity, many considered Enoch's writings sacred. In fact, the early church fathers, like Tertullian, spoke of it as scripture. Even the Epistle of Jude in the New Testament quotes from it directly. But over time, powerful councils, like those in Rome and Nicaea, chose which books were safe for the Bible, and which ones were too dangerous. Enoch, too strange, too mystical, too revealing. It was banned, hidden, labeled as heresy. But why would religious leaders want to bury a book that talks about fallen angels, divine secrets, and a spiritual war? Maybe because it challenges the simple version of history we've been taught. Maybe because it gives too much power to the individual seeker, to those who want to understand the deeper truth of good and evil, of light and darkness. And maybe, just maybe, it reveals that we are part of a much larger cosmic story, one that didn't begin on Earth and doesn't end here either. This is not just philosophy. This is our forgotten inheritance. The Book of Enoch is more than a missing text. It's a key, a map, a mirror. And now let us dive into the heart of its mysteries. What exactly do these fallen angels do? And what knowledge were they trying to give us? Let's enter the ancient world and discover what was never meant to be found. Imagine this, a time before time, when Earth was still young and humanity walked in simplicity. Then they came, The Watchers. These were angels, but not in the way we imagine them today. They were sent by the Creator to watch over Earth and guide humanity, silently. But something changed. They saw human women. They desired them, and they broke the divine law. 200 Watchers descended onto Mount Hermon, according to the Book of Enoch. There they made a pact, a vow, to take women as wives and teach forbidden knowledge. Their leader was named Semjaza. He and his brothers gave humanity tools that were never meant for our early minds. They taught us the art of war, how to create swords and armor. They showed us the stars, not just to observe, but to use them for controlling time and events. They gave secrets of the moon, the sun, the cycles, and of enchantments and root-cutting, early sorcery. In short, they opened doors we weren't ready to walk through. And the result? Chaos. Their children, the Nephilim, were giants. Not just physically large, but with a hunger for power. They ruled, destroyed, and devoured the earth. And as the cries of the innocent rose to the heavens, something had to be done. The Creator sent archangels, Michael, Raphael, Uriel, Gabriel, to stop the madness. The Watchers were bound. The Nephilim were destroyed in a great flood. Yes, that flood. But Enoch, he wasn't just watching this story, he was chosen to record it. He was taken to the heavens by the angel Uriel, shown the astral's mechanics of the universe, the movement of stars, the calendar of creation, the spiritual hierarchy. He saw realms beyond the earth, the abode of the righteous, the prisons of fallen angels, and the future judgment of souls. He learned the names of the angels, the nature of demons, the cycles of ages, and even the coming of a Messiah, long before Jesus was born. In fact, Enoch's writings speak of a Son of Man who will sit on a throne of glory, judging the kings of the earth. How could such detail exist thousands of years before Christ? Here lies one of the shocking truths. The Book of Enoch may be older than many books in the Old Testament. Some parts could date back to 300 BCE or earlier. Scholars found fragments of it in the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church kept it alive, while the West forgot or hid it. But this isn't just ancient history. The knowledge Enoch recorded about heavenly laws, cosmic cycles, and spiritual rebellion sounds more like advanced science and metaphysics than a fairy tale. Could it be that Enoch's visions were real events, misunderstood through time? Could the Watchers be ancient beings mistaken for gods or aliens? It makes you wonder, why would a book so full of mystery, wisdom, and cosmic insight be banned unless someone had something to hide? Why would a book that explains the origin of evil, the true nature of angels, and the structure of the spiritual realms be erased, unless it threatened the official story? The Book of Enoch speaks of truth too great for control. It tells us that we are not alone, that the battle between light and dark is older than humanity, and that knowledge itself is not evil, but powerful and dangerous in the wrong hands. This is the secret hidden behind the veil of religion, a truth whispered across ancient scrolls, lost in time, and only now resurfacing. And we're only getting started. In the next part, we'll dive deeper. What else did Enoch see in the heavens? How does it connect to the pyramids, the stars, and the mystery schools of Egypt? And most importantly, what does it mean for us today? What did Enoch see in the heavens, and why it changes everything? When Enoch was taken by the angel Uriel into the heavens, he didn't just float through clouds or visit paradise. He was shown the structure of reality itself, how time works, how energy flows, and how divine justice operates across dimensions. He saw portals in the sky, openings through which the sun, moon, and stars moved. This wasn't just poetry. It was a description of a celestial system, a kind of cosmic machine with divine timing and sacred geometry. Enoch described 364 days in a perfect year, matching the solar cycle. He was taught about intercalary days, the movement of the stars, and how time itself is part of a divine order. Think about it. How could a man from thousands of years ago write so? Precisely about astronomical patterns, unless he saw them from a higher perspective. But that's not all. He was taken to see the tree of life, the mountain of the dead, and a strange realm where angels stood guard over stars, each star being a spiritual being or force. This was no fantasy. It mirrors ancient teachings from Egypt, Babylon, and India, where stars weren't just rocks in space, but living intelligences, guiding fate and karma. And then, he was shown the places of judgment. In one vision, he saw souls crying out from deep within the earth, awaiting justice. In another, he saw the final courtroom of the divine, where kings, empires, and even angels would face judgment for how they treated humanity. This was revolutionary, because in Enoch's world the heavens were not distant. They were watching, recording, reacting. Every action echoed across dimensions. Every choice mattered, not just in life, but in eternity. But why does this matter now? Because many of Enoch's visions align with what modern science is just beginning to understand. That time isn't linear, it's cyclical. That energy patterns form sacred geometry at atomic and cosmic scales. That vibration and frequency may be the language of creation. In other words, Enoch saw the blueprint of the universe. And here's the shocking twist. Some ancient mystery schools, like those in Egypt and Sumer, appear to have had this knowledge too. The pyramids, they're aligned with Orion's belt, echoing the same cosmic portals Enoch described. The ancient ziggurats, built in tiers, like the heavenly realms Enoch saw in layers. And in both Mesopotamian and Egyptian myths, there are stories of divine beings descending, mixing with humans, and giving forbidden knowledge. Sound familiar? It's the story of the Watchers, retold under different names. Could it be that Enoch's book isn't just scripture? It's a survivor of a lost world knowledge system? A system that connected heaven and earth, soul and cosmos, physics and spirit? Now imagine this. If such a system existed, those in power, religious or political, would want to control it or hide it. And that might explain why Enoch's writings were removed from most Bibles. Not because they were false, but because they were too true. They empowered the individual. They revealed that angels could fall, that divine beings could make mistakes, and that humans had access to knowledge that made them more than slaves to fate. That is dangerous to any system built on fear and control. But here's the secret Enoch leaves behind. We are not just bodies. We are part of a much larger story, a cosmic drama playing out across lifetimes, dimensions, and stars. And right now, in this age of awakening, the truths hidden in the Book of Enoch are calling to us again. Not to worship ancient angels, not to fear the end times, but to remember who we are. Beings of light, capable of falling, but also capable of rising. And as the gates between the worlds open once more, through technology, spirituality, and global awareness, Enoch's message becomes more urgent than ever. Know the truth, seek the higher path, and prepare your soul for what's to come. Because just like in Enoch's time, the Watchers may be watching again. Why Enoch's forbidden vision still matters today. So now that we've explored the depths of the Book of Enoch, the fallen angels, the hidden heavens, the cosmic cycles, and the final judgment, you might be asking, why does any of this still matter? Because Enoch's story isn't just an ancient tale. It's a mirror, a reflection of what is happening right now, in our world, in our minds, and in our spirits. We live in a time of confusion and rapid change. Truth is buried beneath noise. Spirituality is often diluted or distorted. And yet, many are waking up, sensing that something is missing, something ancient and powerful. The Book of Enoch is like a key to that missing piece. It reminds us that we are part of a greater cosmic system. Our actions echo across realms we cannot see, and we are not powerless pawns, but beings of choice, light, and destiny. It warns us of pride, of the fall of once great beings who misused knowledge. It urges us to seek wisdom, not from the outside, but from within. And most of all, it calls us to remember the divine spark is in us. Not in temples, not in books, but in our own awakened awareness. Perhaps that's why the Book of Enoch was hidden, because its message is not about obeying blindly, but about seeing clearly. And now, as more people rediscover this forgotten scripture, we are being asked to do what Enoch did: walk between the worlds, speak the truth no matter the cost, and prepare for the age to come. Because whether you believe the story literally or symbolically, the wisdom is clear. There is more to this world than we've been told, and the time to remember is now. So I'll leave you with a question. What if the forbidden books held the forbidden truths? And what will you do with that knowledge now that it's been revealed? If you found this journey through ancient mysteries eye-opening, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with others ready to awaken. Until next time, stay curious, stay conscious, and keep unlocking the mysteries.